What happens when one couple gets a 170-pound roommate with 4 legs and droopy jowls? Tonight on Get to Know Your Breed, we're going to study your English Mastiff. His name's Artemis.
The most attractive part of an English Mastiff was that they're gentle giants and that they're lazy dogs. A footrest, which he's been anything but a footrest.
I don't like Daddy using me as a footrest. Only Mommy's allowed to use me as a pillow.
That's kind of how we ended up on an English Mastiff. English Mastiffs, although large, don't need a lot of exercise.
I can live anywhere I want, you know.
It didn't really matter that we lived in a condo. We have a lot of nature preserve in our surrounding area, so we've got plenty of places to take him. And Mastiffs don't need much exercise. 1 or 2 hours and they'll sleep for days, which is one of the most appealing parts about Artemis. There he is. Sit down. As a puppy, he wasn't too bad. Artemis, as a puppy, chewed up a lot of things. He ate a lot of my books. He ate a lot of Eva's shoes. He chewed our windowsill. But he was, in terms of housebreaking, it was pretty easy, which we started housebreaking him in the kitchen. I think we had the newspapers. I don't know who uses newspapers. I mean, it soaks through all the time. I never understood the newspaper training route. So we first kept him in the kitchen, then we started using a crate. We used an old crate that I had for my boxer growing up. We kept him crated for probably the first year or so. And eventually he learned he was not a crate dog, and once we gave him run of the house, we kept most of the bedrooms closed. And but yeah, very few accidents. I mean, but he still ruined the carpet regardless. there are stains that surface, and we have no idea where some of these stains came from. Yeah, I mean, he's a lot more chill. I mean, it's hard to be more chill than he was, but he's not nearly as rambunctious. And I mean, now we don't play with him like we used to because he had 2 knee surgeries, both highly expensive. Artemis's first knee surgery was a result of him tearing his ACL, which we didn't realize it for months. I had him out on the leash one day in our nature preserve, and he was in one of his particularly just rambunctious moods, and he was doing his little 360 spins when he gets hyper, and unfortunately he was still on the leash, and he spun into the leash, so it almost bent his leg in the wrong direction. He yelped, and we thought he just kind of sprained something. And for the next couple months, I was hoping that limp would go away. X-rays don't actually show that those ligaments are torn, but eventually the vet did some certain tests that he can do, just kind of pressure points at things, and realized that yes, especially since it had been months and he hadn't stopped limping, that he had in fact probably torn his ACL. And so for 2 weeks he wasn't allowed to do stairs, and we live in a 2nd floor condo, so we had to move into my parents' house for 2 weeks, live out of their living room so we could take him out only 1 or 2 stairs to go out. And Eva and I took days off of work and rotated staying home, working from home, so we could be with him to make sure that he didn't put too much pressure on that leg after surgery, because they attached a titanium plate and screws within his leg. So it was a pretty major surgery. I mean, they put him under, and he had the IV and the epidural and all that, and pretty extensive. I mean, it's a 170-pound dog, so it's just like a human having surgery. He's great with almost every other dog that he meets. That he really likes females. Always
put him in their place, bitches. I like my bitches though, that's for sure.
He was attacked at the dog park, had a piece of his ear bitten off, but that didn't really affect him, I don't think, in any kind of long-term way in the terms of reacting, how he interacts with other dogs. So he, I don't know, he has a girlfriend down the street, a little lab named Callie. Most of all, he's just kind of chill and dopey, and would rather just sniff a dog's butt than sit down. So Artemis's eating habits. He eats better than most humans do. He gets the same thing pretty much for breakfast and dinner. We usually put about 2 cups worth of oatmeal, just oats that you could cook up yourself, and it's instant oatmeal. A 50-pound bag. We put oats in there. We get ground beef or ground turkey every week, hopefully trying to find things that are on sale. We put carrots, occasionally sweet potatoes, green peppers, bell peppers, if we have them, and usually sprinkle some cheese and maybe a little beef stick. Usually put a little treat in there to kind of entice him, because he can be a kind of a brat and very picky some days. If he's not really hungry, he'll just kind of pick at his food. And of course, worst of all, we put a couple glucosamine pills in there to help his joints and hips and all that. And somehow in that big bowl of oatmeal and beef soup, he manages to find those tiny pills and spit them out. But that's what he generally eats. Generally eats 2 times a day, and I think it's really helped him. He stays lean. He's never been overweight. We also, give him a good amount of exercise, and I think it's hopefully he'll live till he's 20. He better. In terms of discipline,
How disciplined are mommy and daddy, more or less? I'm the king of the castle.
he usually listens pretty well inside. And I mean, he learned the basics, the sit and lay down, and does high five and gives, and shakes very well. And yeah, he'll wait usually when you tell him to wait. But if he's outside wandering around and you call for him to come here, he'll just kind of casually glance back at you and completely just ignore us, and he doesn't ever run off him. Artemis is not a sprinter, or he kind of gallops or trots. But that's the one area we didn't discipline very well, was telling him to, when he needs to come back in, he just ignores us and wanders and does whatever he's like. So, well, maintaining Artemis himself is relatively easy. He's probably only had a few baths in his lifetime. English Mastiffs aren't really supposed to be bathed because of their skin. It'll dry it out. You just need to brush them really well. And in the summertime he gets baths in Mama Jeppa's pool, and if he goes into a mucky pond every now and then. We've had to hose him off a few times this summer, but overall maintaining him isn't too bad, and he keeps his teeth really clean by chewing these nylabones that he loves, and we've been very fortunate that he chews on those, because his teeth, even after 4 years, have stayed pretty clean. But on the other hand,
Yeah, Dad, you said all the right stuff, but don't forget, I like to lick my wiener and keep myself clean. I chew on my bunghole sometimes, and pretty easy stuff. And I like to go give mommy and daddy kisses after that.
I don't know, looking back then, if someone would have showed me the next 4 years and the difficulties we'd have with them. His birthday is in 4 days. We'll try not to forget it this year. Last year we almost forgot it and bought him a stack of steaks and fed him those. So, but yeah, it would be. I was hesitant to get a dog in the first place because of the responsibility factor, and if you would have told me the knee surgeries and all that it might have changed things, but I wouldn't go back and change anything.